As usual, we will go into a very brief meditation followed by the channeling state. So I will see you on the other side. Let's take a few moments to drop into a very peaceful and relaxed meditative state. Allowing ourselves to align our body with gravity in a posture that we can hold for some moments. And thusly allowing ourselves to relax into our presence, into our state of existence as we are in this moment. And taking a few deep breaths to ground and anchor ourselves in the body, in this unique time-space coordinate. Feeling our existence through the body, feeling our presence, our unique perspective, our unique moment in time and space. For we are a unique moment, ever present and never to be duplicated, for we are each unique as aspects of the great all that is, experiencing itself through each one of us. So let us feel that existence, feeling how existence is us and supports us in being our true natural selves. Good day to you. We welcome you to these realms of light, where the vast majority of who you are also exists. We welcome you to these realms of light from where your physical life, your physical personality and your entire physical world also springs. Now you are experiencing yourself as a very finite being in a very specific time-space reality coordinate. And you have, for the large part, assumed that this is yourself, your whole self. And you experience yourself thusly as a unique self within this great fabric of existence that feels very much alien to you, separate from you. So thusly you experience yourself in the most unique vantage point within a very vast and massive universe, or even multiverse, as you say in your modern age. Now that is a highly unique perspective that is very precious and very much cherished by the various levels of existence. Now, hidden beneath at the apparencies, hidden beneath this sense of physicality, physical focus, the unique self that you experience yourself to be, are vast layers of consciousness upon which your physical personality rides and emerges from. Now, you have set up your realm in such a way that many of these portions are, for the most part, hidden from your day-to-day awareness. For you have created a kind of focus that excludes much, and that exclusion is by specific design, so that you can have your unique time-space reality experience, feeling yourself to be quite separate from the universe, from the multiverse, feeling yourself to be quite separated out, singled out, and that gives this incredible sense of focus, incredible sense of concentration within your time-space, a sense of uniqueness and individuation, a sense of apartness from the whole. Now underneath all this, your consciousness rides upon frequencies and currents of consciousness that are very much more unified. And thusly, even as your scientists look for a unified field theory, a theory of everything, there is this inherent knowing within you that everything is indeed connected, that everything indeed does connect in some mysterious way. Now, your mystics have understood this through the ages, thus they have created a variety of mystery schools to share this knowledge and pass this knowledge on to the next generations. But you are in a unique point in your historical time period, because now your sciences are also catching up to the idea that everything is indeed interconnected and interlinked. And thus you are passing from the age of separation and segregation to the age of unification, creating a kind of unified perspective, a unified consciousness. Now you are going through what you might experience in your realm as a kind of growing pains as you transition from one density to the next. And this will be quite a powerful feature of this new consciousness, where you begin to see things in whole systems rather than as individuated parts. Now, as your sciences catch up to this, and you begin to create an arc whereby your mystics and your scientists are leaning ever closer together, it will become more and more apparent that you all are seeing, as it were, two sides of a coin, approaching the same fundamental understanding, whereby the mystics and the scientists will come together. Now, even several decades ago, this might have appeared to be completely nonsensical or impossible, but as you traverse through your time-space reality, you are seeing that these two arcs are coming closer and closer together as quantum physics and your physicists begin to explore the nature of consciousness and its effects upon the observable world. You are ever leaning more closer together to that understanding. Now, ultimately, you will realize, and you are realizing, that consciousness permeates all beings and all things, animate and inanimate. And this consciousness is what you are made of. And it is what your world is made of. Now, your mystics have understood this, that throughout the ages, many have undergone training and practices and austerities to break down the illusions and the separations, to break down the walls, to dissolve the walls, and to begin to feel that sense of unification, as your mystics would call it, God consciousness, mystical consciousness, a sense of oneness and connectedness to all that is. And this is, as it were, spilling out from the mystery schools into your collective consciousness now. And even your scientists are endeavoring to look for a kind of unification, a unified field theory, as it were. So it is beginning to become more, as you say, mainstream, rather than simply hidden in the mystery schools. And this is what creates such a powerful pivotal point in your age and your transformation, because you as a culture are beginning to adapt that which has been hidden for centuries, for millennia. And this will necessitate a complete restructuring, reorganization of your civilization, your society, for you will begin to live the principles of unification, a sense that everything is unified, a sense that the action of one individual affects the whole. And while that might seem quite obvious to some of you, as general, your culture operates, your sciences, your businesses, your various fields of study, very much on the frequency of separation and segregation. And you will begin to externally manifest or reflect the understanding that is growing within each and every one of you now. Those of you that are riding this wave of transformation, this will become more apparent in your governments, in your institutions, in your businesses, in your society, your civilization. A very, very powerful moment. So you will, as you are experiencing yourselves as an individuated consciousness, experience more periods of that kind of transcendence, like kind of understanding that you are an aspect of all that is, seeing itself from a unique vantage point, and you will look at your fellows, your animals, your insects, your nature, as other aspects of that same oneness, of that same all that is. And you will have these experiences of looking at yourself in another. For truly that is the mystical consciousness that is now beginning to make itself available to the vast majority of you that are on this wave of transformation, because you have signed up for this specific pivotal moment in your understanding of history or time, that you will go from a period of separation and segregation, and in your lifetime thusly experience a massive transformation from that separation to unification. Now, this kind of transformation carries within it the potential of the most exhilarating ride, as it were, riding that crest, riding that wave. For you must first pull yourself into the darkness of separation in order to create this unique experience of exhilaration as you fling yourself from the darkness into the light. Thusly you are, and you have signed up for one of the most miraculous experiences that the universe, that the multiverse has to offer. You are front row and center now on your world as you experience it to be. So appreciate not only the light, but also the darkness that has allowed you to forget much of who you are, remembering only that portion which is physically focused. You have experienced yourselves as very finite and individuated beings, and that in and of itself is a wondrous creation, a wondrous, very, very wondrous creation, a kind of artistic, divine play, as it were, of galactic proportions. So you have orchestrated this for this precise moment of awakening, and it is precisely that, pulling back into the darkness that you have experienced as a culture for centuries and millennia, that sets you up, for you who are courageous enough to take this particular adventure, to fling yourself from that great darkness and into the great light beings that you are. Thusly to you will be made available more and more layers of consciousness, that unified sense of connectivity to all that is, upon which your individuated and seemingly separated consciousness rides. Like a surfer, you will essentially come to realize that you are not only the surfer, but you are the wave carrying you. And indeed you are the ocean, as the mystics have for so many centuries and eons perceived and taught. You will now have that experience of being the individuated consciousness in all its glory and separateness, while at the same time perceiving yourself as the wave you ride upon and the ocean and then indeed itself. And having those points of focus are exhilarating indeed. For had you not wished to have such an experience, you would simply stay in that sense of oceanic consciousness. But you must have had first the idea of separation, separating yourself out into the individuated being, riding the wave first, and then realizing that you are the wave, and then furthermore realizing you are that great ocean that you ride upon with incredible depth. So congratulations for being in this magnificent moment, for being in this generation, for being in this particular cohort, as it were, of souls. For you and your soul family are very much, as we say, right on track, even when it seems as if you are not. Now it is up to you to divest yourself of all that is limiting in consciousness, the limiting beliefs that have been, as you say, normal in your world, the normal state of affairs, to no longer accept normal as that which you will perpetuate in your own lives, but to do the work of consciousness, to do the self-inquiry and the self-investigation to divest yourself of those limitations that would have you believe that you are separate, that you are finite. For the status quo will no longer do. And you will feel great pressure for those of you that signed up for the transformation to create a kind of momentum in your life to ride the wave. For you have the choice to ride the wave or to be pummeled by the wave, as it were, as an experience. For the old negativities and the old limitations will no longer suffice. They will not hold water, as it were. They will begin to crumble. And rather than finding yourself underneath the rubble, you wish to then rise above it, as it were, to rise above the forest, so you can see the forest and not be lost in the trees, as it were, the trees of negative beliefs. When you rise above it, you will see it clearly for what it is, for the illusion that it is. And thus the you and the mystics will become one in understanding that this experience is an illusion, and yet the experience is very real when you find yourself in the midst of it, for it is designed to be experienced full-bodied as very, very real and very, very tangible. And at the same time, it is also an illusion, for you will rise above the limitations and see the illusion for what it is. You will see the forest rather than the trees. So you are on an exhilarating adventure, and framing it thusly will help, because for those of you that are caught in the web of limitation and negative beliefs, the experience of that will appear very, very real. And yet as soon as you divest yourself of the negative beliefs that you have bought into, as you disentangle yourself and rise above it, you will see it for the illusion that it is. And both experiences are true. They are true at whatever level of consciousness you experience it. Within the limitations, that is true as an experience. Outside of the limitations, this is also true as an experience. So honor the experience as it is, whether you are experiencing limitation or experiencing the exhilaration of letting go and rising above the limitations. For they are both valid experiences, and through validating each experience, you will find yourself very easily sliding in and out of different belief systems. For it is the frequency of validation that is itself integration, and an integrated frequency naturally raises you above that which is limiting. You will rise in frequency, and thusly see the limitation for what it is, but honor it as an experience for yourself and for your fellow human beings. For those caught in the illusion, it is very, very real. So give that compassion from your vantage point as you rise and rise and rise, like a hot air balloon, letting go of the sandbags one by one, letting go of the negative beliefs one by one. Each time you let go of a sandbag, you rise a bit higher, you get a bit more perspective. And it is a wondrous journey indeed, exhilarating at each and every moment, each and every step. So untie those sandbags, as it were. Let yourself rise in consciousness. And as you do so, you will begin to experience the unified field, the unified consciousness. You may at one point look at a fellow being, be it a person or an animal or some other aspect of nature, and you might begin to see that they are all that is. They are God consciousness experiencing itself from that unique vantage point. And you too are God consciousness, or an aspect of all that is experiencing yourself from your unique vantage point. And you might look at this other being and notice that you are one and the same, an extension of that great all that is. Not only this, but you will recognize that the world that you experience too is an extension of all that is. So it is as if it is all that is traveling through itself, experiencing itself and experiencing other aspects of itself in all, be it animate or inanimate. And it is a wondrous, mystical, co-creative, beautiful experience, for your individuality will always be as it is, In it, it will always expand to include other points of view, other perspectives, all the way to the great all that is perspective. And yet each individuated aspect of consciousness has the same capacity to experience itself as the great all that is, of which you are a part. And that is the great infinity, an infinity of infinities, as it compounds itself. So there is much to experience, much to learn, much to discover, much to enjoy and relish. And relish even the sensation of separateness that gives you the capacity to experience the arc of transformation from darkness and limitation to light and integration. For it is all a miraculous play of consciousness, a kaleidoscopic pattern of change and transformation. And realize that you have your rudder in the water, and that indeed what you put out is what you get back. Thusly, when you put out a frequency of integration, validation, thusly you will arise in frequency, for you cannot perceive what you are not the vibration of. Thusly put out the vibration that you prefer and get the reflections that you prefer, and use up all reflections in the most positive, integrative way, so that you continue feeding out the frequency of integration regardless of what the reflective mirror appears to be reflecting back to you. And thusly you will stay with your hand on the rudder, constantly putting out that which you prefer, even when you experience that which you do not prefer. This is the key that will keep you on the process and in the momentum of ascension. So that will be our transmission for today. So with that, let us take a few moments to absorb these energies, for they are coming to you not only through the voice and the language, but they are also being transmitted to you vibrationally. And as such, we will take a few moments to absorb the vibrations that are being transmitted, for encoded in the vibration is not only the wisdom of your own higher minds and that which you know in your heart, but also templates of healing and transformation that you can tap into if you so choose. So receive the light, receive the healing templates that are available, for we do not provide anything that you do not already know deep within your heart, for you are the same aspect of all that is that we are. You are simply focused in a different way. So we do not have access to more than that which you have access to. We all have access to the same all that is, for we are the same all that is. So allow yourself to absorb that which you already know, to remember and experience for yourself the profound states of healing and transformation as you give yourself that opportunity to receive the vibrations. For we are merely reflecting that which is within your own being. So sit with that, be with that, receive that, tap into that, be your true natural self. Feel your core energy, feel your heart, expand that light within your heart, and allow yourself to feel that which is being transmitted and reflected to your own being as you give yourself the opportunity to vibrate, to resonate, to remember. And thusly we thank you for being a part of this particular transmission. We appreciate you very, very much. Thusly appreciate yourselves, and you will find that appreciation to lift you above the vibration of separation. For you have within that not only the capacity, but this is the theme that you chose to explore, to rise above that which limits, and to become more and more of an integrated, true, natural self, and also a beacon of light in being your true natural self for those around you, that they may receive an inkling of this vibration and be inspired by simply your presence, your beingness, your existence. For you are valuable within existence as an aspect of the all that is, validating all experiences, and yet choosing the experience that you prefer for yourself. Thusly, we thank you for being here, for being the beacons of light, and for anchoring this vibration into your world, into your time-space coordinates as you listen to this transmission, and let it reverberate within you and remind you who you are. With that, and we will wish you, and each and every one of you, a glorious and a beautiful and a fond good day. Well, there you have it. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next video.